About Max's Kansas City. How did you get sort of pulled in there?
Donald Lyons.
Mm-hmm.
Donald Lyons. He said, "We're going to Max's. Come on, it's time you learn something."
Mm-hmm. Roughly how old were you at the time?
65, 24.
24.
And down we go into this place, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we walk in, and there are these people. It was just getting started. Vicky Ruskin had just started. And he pulled me into the back. And I don't remember whether there was a laser shot from across the street that I remember looking for. But I'm pretty sure that Dan Flavin's triangular orange thing was in place. And there was a round table. And he sits me down and he brings me a drink. They get me a drink. And I said, several people I've known since have been waiters and waitresses there. And I said, "This is free." Donald said, "You're on my tab." See, Mickey was very smart. He had a lot of smart people on the tab. Drew people in. So from then on, until I left for England, which wasn't long after, I was on a free tab. Then we went to England, lived there for 2 years, came back, 67. Andy was shot in 68, the same day as Kennedy, or the day before. And after that, now the factory didn't exactly stop because in the meantime Paul had made all those movies, and they were all great, for what they were. They were just, I'll never forget Women in Revolt. It was just absolutely, I'll kill that Andre, and things like that. Then I became very friendly with Holly.
Mm-hmm. Holly Woodlawn.
Yeah, and I stayed with Holly, friends with Holly forever. We're still friends. Then I worked on her a little bit with a cabaret over in Sweeney's. And then I went back to, then we came back, we came back, and it was 67, and then Andy was shot. And then suddenly, I don't remember, things get very foggy in the early 70s. But in 1975, Donald Lyons brought a young girl who a mouth on her, like, she was wonderful. I adored her. I dragged her over to a corner, and what's your name again? I forget. She said, Fran Leibowitz.
Oh, Fran Leibowitz.
And I said, you are the. I said, you keep talking like that, you're going to have a book. And she said, yeah, I'm going to have a book, that kind of thing. And she was a very sweet person, actually. So out comes Metropolitan Life, right? Mm. And Donald Lyons ends up saying, you can't go to a hotel in this country without opening the drawer and finding the Gideon Bible on one side and Metropolitan Life on the other. Mm-hmm. So she had a roaring success, which is very nice. Not long after, I was sitting talking with her, I think, in the back room. And in one, there's this etiolated, strange-looking boy with a little bit of a mustache. And I said, who's that? And she said, oh, his name is John Waters. Mm-hmm. So he sat down.
Fresh from Baltimore?
Very sweet, yeah. Very sweet. And he said he was making his first movie, I guess it was, And I remember years later I said, you love Devon, Glenn Mills. I said, and you made her get down on all fours and eat shit. I said, you could have used a Hershey bar. No, it wouldn't have been real. Pink flamingos.
I did see that.
Yeah. But then John and I sort of became devoted on and off, And once I met him on a train, I was getting on a train, and I tapped him on the shoulder, and he turned around, scared, because, And I said, John, it's Jimmy McCourt. Oh my God! And we pulled into the. He said, we can't go to the quiet car. So we went into this other car, and we started, he gets off in Baltimore, the whole trip was Hollywood, face crazy, that kind of thing. And there were people in front of us listening like that, So John's a really dear person.
Yeah, what was? Tell me a bit more about the scene at Max's. Like in the sense you were joking, or you said that Lou Reed had to step over you.
Yeah, to go up the Velvet Underground. Yeah.
So that was the first in '65, or was that in '67?
No, that would have been in '67.
In '67.
He said it to me years later.
Yeah, who? Of course.
Yeah.
Who else was there? You know, and other people that were important to you.
I was so drunk that I only knew that I was in the presence of. But the triple goddess, I knew more, and I liked them.
And once again, Holly Woodlawn.
Holly Woodlawn, Candy Darling, and the incredible Jackie Curtis, whom I paid very little attention to until I never did see it, but I read Nolan Noonan or Glamour, Glory and Gold, and I said, this guy is terrific. He can write. He's terrific, and he was tough. You know, he was Slugger Ann's grandson. Yeah. Right.
Who was Slugger Ann?
Well, there was a very tough bar adjacent on 2nd Avenue and 12th, I think it was, called Slugger Ann's, and they were all products of the Lower East Side, right? And
Lower East Side Irish, or
no, I don't think she was Irish. I don't remember, but her daughter, Slugger Ann's daughter, married a man from down in Tennessee or someplace, you know, and they spawned Jackie Curtis. And Jackie was working as a barman when he was like 14 or something. And the reason that became kind of popular was in those days the Phoenix Theater Company was playing at the old, what had been an old Jewish theater. And I don't remember how many years they ran, but everybody went to Slugger Ann's. And so then everything closed, and Nicky Ruskin just opened, he just had an intuition, and he opened the place. The, you know, the sort of factory thing had already happened, you know. And he said, well, I'm gonna do something with this. And he got so smart because he had all the rich, curious people in the front. He had little Dorothy Dean as the doorman. Well, no, you can't come in here. You know, you don't belong here. And then a sort of extra little, there was a narrow passageway, there was the kitchen here, and there was a narrow passageway to the back room. And I remember bringing my older brother to the back room once, my older brother David, because he was in New York. And they're sitting around talking, and Jackie Curtis comes over and starts making, you know, like little, and starts like picking up my brother's food, you know, and then sort of gets up and toddles away, and I said, you realize that was a man? He said, no. So there were no flies on my brother David, but he grew up in New York. So.
With I wanted to ask you,